Welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe, and you stay for a while. Disclaimer, I'm going to be talking about murder. So if you are under the age of 18, you have no business watching this, and you need to click off. Now, I will let you know, my name is Cassandra Dolores, and it looks like Cassandra, but it's really Cassandra. I know, blame my mom for that. And today, we're going to be talking about Ed Gein. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this video on him, so I went back and forth like, should I do it? Should I not do it? They should know about this story. Maybe they don't know about this story. So I decided to go ahead and do it. And so we're going to get right into it. Ed Gein was born August 27, 1906 in La Crosse, Wisconsin. He was a second child to Augusta and George Gein. His older brother's name was Henry. Now, let's talk a little bit about his mom. She was a devout Lutheran woman. She believed that sin was everywhere and it was always the devil's fault for everything that happened. She was one of those people that was really a Bible thumper. And she also believed that all women, excluding her, were either whores or prostitutes. On the other hand, his dad, George, was timid. He was timid until it came to him drinking. He was an alcoholic, and it said that he would often abuse Augusta and the boys. Now, remember, I did mention that Augusta was really religious. She didn't want her children to be influenced by any outsiders. So she decided that La Crosse was just too big. It was turning into Sodom and Gomorrah. And she wanted to move her kids to somewhere to where it was safe. Really, she wanted total control, and she wanted to isolate her children. So they end up moving to Plainfield, Wisconsin, on a 155-acre farm. And I mean, how could you not be isolated on a 155-acre farm? Now, the boys did attend school. Now, Ed was what you would pretty much call weird. I guess that's kind of the mean way to say it, but he was just kind of off. He was said to like randomly laugh as if he was laughing at jokes in his own head. He also was bullied. He had a lazy eye and a speech impediment. So he was an easy target for bullies. In 1940, unfortunately, Ed's father did pass away from his alcoholism. He ended up having a heart attack. And so the boys had to drop out of school to take care of the farm. Now, Ed is about 12 or 13 at this time. And so you have to imagine his mom thinks the outside world is just evil. The boys could even have friends. She just thought any friends would influence them and they would start committing all these sins. So now they're totally isolated, working on the farm. Now they would do, again, odd jobs to help out, but pretty much it's just Henry, Augusta, and Ed. Now, throughout the years, Henry is starting to mature, and he is starting to, not believe his mom that everybody is full of sin, the outside world is full of sin, the devil is everywhere. His thinking started to change. Again, he started to mature and come into his manhood. Ed, he didn't. He really believed what his mom was saying, that it was gospel, that was word. What she said was word. Henry noticed this and he started to criticize his mom to Ed, and Ed didn't take too kind to that. He would become very hurt when Henry did that. Now, it's 4 years after, which makes it 1944. There was a brush fire on the property, and Henry and Ed are battling the brush fire, and they get separated. So Ed doesn't know where his brother is at. He goes for help and takes him right to Henry's body. So let's just rewind what I just said. He told them he couldn't find his brother. His brother got lost with them battling the fire. But he takes them right to Henry's body. That doesn't make sense. That doesn't sound correct to me. You said he was gone, but you took us right here. Now, it's not officially said that Ed had anything to do with his brother's death, but they did, during the autopsy, find some injuries to Henry's head. But they did just, stated that it was due to a heart attack. So you guys think what's your opinion? My opinion is, I think it's that Cain and Abel, Ed has something to do with that. Like, he wasn't okay with Henry talking bad about his mom. And so he decided to, you know what? I'm going to teach you a lesson. Now, it is said that due to Henry's death, it caused his mom to have a heart attack, and she did become partially paralyzed. Now, Ed did nurse her back to health, but unfortunately, she did have another stroke. I believe it was a year after, in 1945, and unfortunately, she did not recover from that, and she ended up passing away. Ed's behavior at the funeral, they said he behaved like a small child. He was just wailing and my opinion is he probably didn't know how to process his emotions because he'd never really matured. But they said that he just really pretty much acted a fool at her funeral. Now, let's imagine this. Ed has no one. His father has passed. His brother, who we think, my opinion is, he probably did something to his brother, is gone. But his diamond is gone. His God, his goddess is gone. And so now Ed is totally isolated from the outside world. It would probably drive you a little crazy, although it doesn't excuse any of his behavior. But I'm just saying, isolation will drive you crazy. Now, Ed did travel into town. He did go to like a tavern for drinks. Of course, he had to go into stores. It was even said that Ed was a good babysitter because he was such a childlike person himself. And I also want to mention that after his mom's death, he boarded up some of the rooms that she did use often and kind of preserved them. And the rest of the house is filthy. It is hoarded. Like, I can't do hoarding. It bothers my mind. My brain can't rest. But it was a filthy house. He didn't take care of the house. It's just disgusting. And I'll show you guys the photos of that. Now, Ed is now 51 years, or around that age or so. And Miss Bernice Hoarding goes missing. Now, she was the owner of a, like, I guess you would call it like a little farm store, I guess is what that would be called. I'm not sure. Where you would go buy like antifreeze or just like shotguns, products like that. Well, she goes missing. What happened is her son goes to the store to look for his mom. Let me also mention that her son is a deputy. So he goes in the store, look for his mom. He noticed the cash register is empty. There's also blood. Another key item he sees is there is a receipt for antifreeze made out with Ed's name on there. So, him being a deputy, he works backwards. This is the last person who I know was weird that has seen my mom or had been at the store. Let me go ask where my mama was at. So they go looking for Ed, but he's not there at the house. The police actually goes into a shed on the property, and this is where the shit hits the damn fan. Now, disclaimer, it's going to get a little vulgar, so again, if you're not 18, you don't need to be watching this portion at all, for sure. So again, the police come on the property and they discover a decapitated body that is hanging like from the boards by their feet, and it's like as if she was being dressed like a deer, like you would dress a deer. I hope I'm saying that right. You know, if you hunt, you know what I'm talking about then. So like they've never seen anything like this before. They're blown away. What the hell is going on? And then they go into the house. You guys can find the pictures online. I will just read off some of the stuff that they found online or in the house. A lampshade made out of skin. Human heads that were shrunken. Gloves made out of skin. They found a jar with noses in it. What the hell was you doing with that, Ed? What was you doing? Okay, I don't know. A belt made out of nipples. People be cray-cray. Like, people be crazy and people be cray-cray. And he was like cray-cray. A shade made out of human lips. Now, they did also find the head. Remember, the body was in the property, the shed. They found the head. Unfortunately, it was Miss Bernice's head. They find the head from a woman who was missing. She owned a tavern that Ed did go drink at. And that was Miss Mary Hogan, unfortunately. Now, Ed did confess. You know, he didn't deny the things that he was doing. He also informed them about 18 months after his mother had passed, he did go to her grave and he dug up her body and he took her head and he had that in the house with him. So this is when he started to rob graves, and he preferred women that favored his mom. And those are the bodies that he would dig up and the skin that he would use. Women that kind of look like his mom a little bit. Ed did inform the police on how he would pick which grave he would use. So he would look in the paper and see an obituary. And if it resembled his mom, he would, at nighttime, go to the grave, dig up that body, and use that skin, those body parts. But of course, the person is dead. So skin is not easy to manipulate, as you know, the longer they've been passed away, the harder the skin is to manipulate to make his lamps, to make his belts, etc., etc. Weird ass. So he went to killing people in real time because he knew the skin was easier to sew at that time. Ed also confessed to the police that at nighttime, sometimes he would get dressed up in this mask and the human skin leggings and the human skin vest, and that he would just pretty much go around in the yard acting like his mother. Could y'all imagine that? Oh, I'm gonna go visit Ed real fast. And you hey, Ed, Ed, is that Ed? Baby, you would see nothing but like my tail lights. Because I'm not sticking around to hear what's going on. Nothing like that. That's almost one of the craziest stories I ever heard. To where like he actually just wanted to morph into his mother. Now, Ed was put on trial, but they just decided that he was not mentally stable. And so they just pretty much put him in a mental institution. And then, kind of 11 years after, he goes to trial again. But they just decide that Ed is just not, he's not with it. He's not together. He's not mentally sound. So we're going to put him back in a mental institution and keep him there. And that's where he stayed until he was 77 years of age, and he passed away from cancer. Now, I think it's an unfortunate case because I believe if he wasn't so influenced by his mom drilling into her head that everyone is sinful, you're just going to hell, everyone else is a devil, I think he wouldn't have committed these crimes. But unfortunately, he did. I mean, Henry didn't, and he did. So that's my opinion on it. What he still did was wrong. I'm not understanding, like, were you trying to recreate your mom? Because he was an avid reader too. And they said he had books in his home regarding like cannibalism, about Nazis and their experiments on people. So I'm just trying to figure out, me always, what were you trying to do? Bring her back to life? Because that's not possible. She's gone, baby. Baby, she's gone. She's not coming back. So again, I can't wait to see your comments and, you know, your opinions on what you think about this case. Have you never heard it before? This is the first time you've heard it, or you've heard it before? It was just really interesting. But that's pretty much it, you guys. That is the case. And I will be back next week for another one.